first, we go live to Trey Yingst, who is following this story live from Israel. Trey.
John, good evening. We are following this breaking news out of the region. Around 10 hours ago, a helicopter that was carrying Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi and his foreign minister disappeared. There were 3 helicopters and a convoy. They were returning from a meeting in Azerbaijan with Raisi's counterpart when one of these helicopters reportedly crashed in a mountainous region of northern Iran. There have been search and rescue efforts underway since that took place. And Iranian leadership is basically making statements to the public saying they have no further information on the location of the helicopter crash. Now, there have been a number of statements circulating online from the local Red Cross and from other search and rescue officials in Iran, indicating they may have gotten a signal from one of the passengers of the aircraft, or they may have located the general region where the helicopter went down. None of that information is confirmed, though. The only thing we've been able to confirm is a statement from Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who said, quote, "We hope and pray that God will return the president to the arms of the nation." Right now, there are 2 things on Iranian state media. One, they are showing images of this search and rescue operation in a mountainous region where there's a lot of fog and bad weather. And additionally, they are showing civilians across the country that are praying for Iranian leadership. A lot of questions tonight about how long this operation may take and what sort of efforts they will put into place to try and find the Iranian president. We do understand at this hour there is a Turkish drone over the northern part of Iran, surveilling the area, trying to gather any sort of information to help those rescue efforts on the ground. John?
What do you know about the weather forecast? Is it projected to lift, get a little better, Trey?
It is not. And some of the initial statements that we saw on Iranian state media from the rescuers who are operating in this area said that as they got to higher elevations, some of that rain was turning into fog and snow. And so that's a very challenging environment for these rescue teams to be operating in. Again, there's been a lot of mixed information floating around online and very limited details that we can actually confirm about the Iranian efforts to rescue or locate the President Ebrahim Raisi, the foreign minister, and other top officials that were on this helicopter that was traveling from Azerbaijan to Iran when it reportedly crashed in the northern part of the country. John?
Reportedly, this was a Bell 212. Now, that's an American-built helicopter, but Iran has been under American sanctions since, 1979. It's hard to believe that they have the ability to conduct really good maintenance operations on their American-made equipment, Trey.
Absolutely. And a lot of the aircraft that the Iranian regime uses for their top officials comes from the Russians and is actually old Soviet gear that is being used by top officials in Iran. And so there will be many questions about why the Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi was on an aircraft that was out of date and not with the latest and greatest technology to communicate if there were any sort of emergency, or primarily to be able to locate such an aircraft. Right now, these rescue teams appear to be working blind in the mountainous region of northern Iran. They have no pings yet as to where this location is. And so they're trying to gather as much information as they can. Now, many allies of the Iranians have reached out to offer assistance. Like I said, there is a Turkish drone currently circling the area of northern Iran where officials believe that this helicopter went down. Additionally, our producer telling me at this hour that the Russians have offered a team to travel to Iran and try to assist with locating this aircraft. And again, this is still a search and rescue operation. We've not yet heard anything else from Iranian officials to indicate this has entered a new phase. But again, the weather, a key issue here. And some of that initial video from rescue teams on the ground indicates it's very foggy in this mountainous region where they do believe this helicopter went down.
Yeah,
John?
Very dense fog, obviously, in that footage you're sending back. And I certainly wouldn't want to be flying in it. Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, Israel, keeping an eye on that story for us. If you learn more, get back to us immediately. Thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.